I just I just prayed. I was in my kitchen. I just stood up and I'm like, God, please bring every single detail of that dream back to my remembrance, because when I made the last video, I literally just woke up from it and I couldn't think of nothing at first, and then slowly it all started flooding my mind, what happened, and I wrote it all down, so I don't sit here and just start blabbing off. And after I wrote this, I read my the little prayer book I got the other day at Walmart, and it's 365 days of prayer for depression and anxiety. But it goes with exactly what just happened, and that's even more crazy. Everything's been just like I said in my last video or the other one, everything has just been one thing after the next. And I'm not talking about bad stuff. Everything has been going really, really, really good, and I've been seeing so many beautiful things. And I made a video like 4 videos ago about how I told the guys downstairs, like, I see the devil everywhere I go, because everywhere I went that day I seen nothing. But now everywhere I go I see Jesus. Everywhere I go, in everything. I try to explain it to my kids really slowly, like I detailed that he's in everything. But I'm gonna read this to you, because this is what I seen in my dream. In the dream, I was arguing with my wife and my daughter. I was outside in the driveway in the backyard chilling in my car for about 3 or 4 hours, just out there chilling, listening to music and just doing stuff like outside in the garage type stuff. And when I came back in the house, my wife started to accuse me of cheating on her. She said, "Where have you been all this time?" And I said, "I was in the driveway." And she said, "You're a liar." And she kept calling me a liar, and she kept saying, "You're lying. You weren't in the driveway. You were with some, and I'm like, you ever been accused of something that you didn't do? It makes you very upset. And I was in this dream, I was so upset. And the crazy thing, this is exactly the pair of scissors that I had in my dream. Exactly the pair of scissors. And I'm gonna make this thing as deep as I can with you guys, and I'm gonna go. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I said I was in the drama. She's calling me a liar and all that, and then I screamed at her. We were in the living room. I don't even know if I recognized the living room that we were in, but we were in like a living room, and there was a table between us, and I was sitting at the table with these scissors. That just came back right now. I was sitting at the table with these scissors, and I screamed at her, but I was like kind of stabbing at the table, and I screamed at her with very loud, like screamed at her. And I'm like, dude, on my mother's grave. And if you knew me, because of what God said about swearing, so don't swear on your head, don't swear on, I don't say I swear to God. I don't say I swear on my mama's grave. I don't say I swear on this. I never say that. So in my dream, I was trying to make her understand how serious I was about me not cheating on her, right? So I screamed with the loudest voice. I said, on my mother's grave. And you know I would never say that. And then I said, but then I looked at her and I said, but have you been cheating on me? And yeah, I said, but have you been cheating on me? I'm like, come on, just say it. And she turned and started to walk away, like walk toward the other direction with this big smile on her face, and her hair even kind of blew back over her shoulder. And she said 3 or 4 times. That's all she said. She just said 3 or 4 times, like in a happy, like 3 or 4 times. And I lost it and I started punching her. And my daughter jumped in and we all ended up on the floor. And they were the demons in my dream. They pinned me down to the ground. It was my wife and my daughter. They pinned me down to the ground and they started eating me alive. And I was just with my daughter last night right before I came home, and I took her to Ross, and we went to Walmart, and I bought her some new clothes and shoes, and we had such a beautiful time. And she kept telling me before I left the house, I love you, Daddy, I love you. And I drove home really feeling good, and I had to fix the dryer in the basement. I had to put I put a brand new dryer in, and I had to put that hose in the back. And I didn't have the hose at first, and when I left the house earlier today or yesterday, I don't think my wife thought I was gonna come back to finish it. And I went back last night, and I went to Walmart and bought the rest of the pieces for it, and I put it all together like really nice. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to my wife, and she said, you're the best, you're the bestie or whatever, you're the bestie, you're the best. And she's like, now I don't gotta go to the laundromat and wash clothes anymore. And so everything with my wife and my children yesterday was beautiful. And in the dream, they were eating me. They were eating me, dude. Eating. I'm not talking about biting me. It was almost like those videos that you see about like when all the lions are eating something like a hippopotamus alive, and it's just, or a deer, and it's just laying there, dude, like just taking it. And that's what it was like in my dream. It was like I was just taking it. I couldn't do nothing about it. And I remember thinking, these scissors were still in my hand, and I remember thinking, if I kill myself, I won't have to feel this pain no more. If anybody has something, I'm dead serious, if anybody has anything that they can add to this to try to make, because this is what the dream was. And after I tried to stab myself right here with these scissors, boom, and it would not go through. I stabbed as hard as I could, and it just was like, I could feel how hard my skull was. And you see movies and stuff where people just jam. I don't think you can stab these through my head that easy. I don't, or anyone's head. But I tried to jam it through my head, and I couldn't get it here. So I took the scissors like this, and I said, bam! And they went all the way into my head, like that. And I remember being confused on why I didn't just blank out. I'm like, did I not hit the right part of my brain? I was thinking this. So I took the scissors and I took them out, and I jammed them as hard as I could into my head, and they actually went in, and I still was wide alive, like nothing happened, and I'm still getting eaten by them. They're eating my legs and on my side, like, oh my gosh. And while I was laying there, I kept thinking, I can't die. I'm like, I couldn't die. It was blowing my mind. So I took, the scissors were in my head, and I tried to like twist it to, I'm telling you, I was seeing this in my dream. I kept visualizing my brain and why, and like, am I not hitting the right part of my brain? Like, why am I not just dying? And all of a sudden I was let up. I'm tore all the way up, and that's when that white dude, the guy, he appeared in my dream, and I don't know who he was, but there was a door, and we got through this door, and the guy, and I was so scared, and like I said, there was like these windows at the top of the room, like, you see where that little crease is right there? Imagine if that was windows up there instead of for that just blank wall. That's where the windows were, but they were really, really high. Like, there was no way out of this room, and this guy just appeared. Now that my brain is like kicking in, like, this guy appeared, and he had on a flannel shirt, and he had on some blue jeans, and there wasn't nothing special looking about him at all whatsoever. And he got me into this other room, and I'm screaming at him, like, I'm like, dude, shut the door. I'm like, they're coming back. And he shut the door, and then I woke up. Now I'm gonna read you this. I think it's called an affirmation. I'm not all good with all that. Or your daily blog. Anyway, this is for today, March 12th. I'm reading it to you because just let me read it to you. It said, I cried out to you, Lord. I cried out to you, Lord, my only hiding place. You're all I have, my only hope in this life, my last chance for help. That's Psalm 142, Psalm 142, verse 5. I'm going to read this one more time. I cried out to you, Lord. I cried out to you, Lord, my only hiding place. You're all I have, my only hope in this life, my last chance for help. It says, when situations are desperate and there are no clear answers before me, I am aware of my need for you to come through, Father. When I'm exhausted, when I've exhausted all my resources and I have nothing left to pull from, your help is all I'm left with. Though this feels uncomfortable, your solutions are best anyway. Whether I find myself in a dire circumstance or the mundane of my routine, I can be sure that your help is always available to me. You are a shelter to those seeking respite from the storms of life. You are always ready to come to my aid when I ask. Help me not to hesitate to cry out to you. I know you are listening. Lord, you are my hiding place. I rely on your help to get me through every trial. I lean into your wisdom today. Fill me with the peace of your presence that passes all understanding. And I'm going to let you guys go. I'll be done in 20 seconds. In this dream, all the stuff that I remembered, I do not remember calling on Jesus one time at all. I say Jesus and God so many times in a day that it ain't even funny. But in this dream, it seems like he was the last thing on my mind. Like, I didn't even think to call on his name. And I don't. Maybe something will come back later and I'll remember that I did, but I think I would have remembered something like that. These demons can take the form of anything they like. And I've listened to enough testimonies about hell. I've read books. And I'm actually gonna show you something. This book is called A Land Unknown, Hell's Dominion by Brian Melvin. And if you look his testimony up on YouTube, it'll blow your mind what he said he's seen when God had an angel escort him. Matter of fact, it wasn't even an angel. It was like he said it was a demon that kind of escorted him through hell. And anyway, I believe, I don't know where I was at. I don't know if I just got a peek through the veil and seeing something that, because I have asked God to, and some people might not agree with this, but I've listened to other people. I want to know everything. And I guess some things, like when I woke up, I wasn't like tweaking out like, oh my God. I wasn't panicking. I woke up and sat up in my bed because I knew I can tell the difference between here and there now. There was a time in the beginning when I first got born again that when the dreams were so that I actually thought that I was still in the dream. So I understand the separation. But if hell is anything like what I just experienced, with them eating you alive, you can't die. I tried to kill myself 3 times, and the last time, like I said, I thought if I stabbed myself right in my heart, and right when I got ready to stab myself in my heart, I was standing on my feet, and that's when that guy, that white man, appeared and got me into that room and shut the door, and then I woke up. If anybody got anything to add to this, please shed some light on it if you can, like something that you see that I don't see. But considering what I've learned about hell, it sounds just like where I was just at, except there was no fire or none of that. I was in this room and there was no way out. There was no way out of this room. It was no way out. The windows were so high, there was nothing in the room. The windows were like twice as tall as I was. I mean, literally, you are trapped and there's no way out. That was scary in itself, knowing that you can't get out. And then them eating me alive like that. And they, oh man. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Please pray for me. Everything's been going great. I know for a fact, because of my previous experiences with things like this, that this is just the beginning. God bless you. I love you. If you got a comment, comment. If not, I love you.